5 Louisiana rappers who are currently in jail serving time in the Louisiana prison system. Rest in peace to any and all victims that lost life. Number 1 YKWIHF Vea is a Baton Rouge rapper and rising artist on the Louisiana music scene known for his gritty street rap and connection to local culture. The moniker, YKWIHF, stands for, "You know what it's hitting for," a phrase he uses in his music and branding to signal authenticity and a hard-working mentality in the streets and studio. Baton Rouge rapper YKWIHF Vea, Jervia Ferguson, is in custody at the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. His legal status is as follows. Murder indictment. Vea was indicted on second-degree murder charges related to the April 1, 2024, killing of 21-year-old Jonathan Williams on 68th Avenue. Drug and gang charges. In June 2025, while already in jail for the murder charge, he was further accused of conspiracy to distribute Schedule I narcotics. Law enforcement authorities identified him as a high-ranking member of a local group known as the Vultures, which they claim operated a large-scale marijuana ring. Ongoing proceedings. As of December 2025, his defense team was actively seeking the removal of the presiding judge in his high-profile murder case. Number 2 Rudy. The Baton Rouge Police Department announced the arrest of one man for his participation in a robbery of a Regions Bank ATM back in December. Police arrested Neptune Rudy Ruger Hatfield Jr. for armed robbery with a firearm and possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, among other charges. Police said he had bleeda gang memorabilia. Police seized approximately 49 grams of fentanyl from Hatfield's residence, alongside clothing and shoes believed to be purchased with the money from the ATM. Hatfield was booked for armed robbery with a firearm, being in a criminal street gang, possession of marijuana, alleged drug paraphernalia, 2 counts of possession of a machine gun and possession with intent to distribute synthetic marijuana and fentanyl. Number 3 Lit Yoshi. Member of TBG, meaning Top Boy Gorilla Gang, and dude is a real savage, a real gorilla, if you know what I mean. He is the nephew of rapper Lil Boosie best friend Lil Ivy, who was shot and killed years ago in Baton Rouge. Lit Yoshi, real name Yoshi Edwards, is a hip-hop artist from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, associated with the Top Boy Gorilla, TBG, group. Legal status. As of 2026, he remains incarcerated. In May 2023, the Louisiana State Supreme Court denied his request to withdraw a guilty plea for charges including attempted first-degree murder and assault. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Music. He is known for a long-standing feud with NBA YoungBoy's Never Broke Again collective. His popular tracks include Again, Feet, Fredo Bang, Blasting, and Cut Up. Recent activity. Despite his imprisonment, new music has been released as recently as 2025, including the singles Young N***, and Celebrate. Lit Yoshi's sentencing. In July 2022, Lit Yoshi pleaded guilty to charges including attempted first-degree murder and assault stemming from a July 4, 2020, drive-by shooting and a 2019 incident. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. His right HNAD man 77 Hardaway was shot and killed at the Sherwood Place Apartments in Baton Rouge. Investigators described it as a targeted attack and believed it was part of the ongoing gang-related feud between rival rap factions. Yoshi sentencing. A Baton Rouge rapper sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to attempted murder and assault charges last year has again lost a bid to change his plea and take his chances with a judge or jury. The state Supreme Court ruled unanimously Tuesday that it wouldn't take up Lit Yoshi's request. His lawyers didn't immediately return a telephone call seeking comment on how they may proceed. The rapper, whose real name is Yoshi Edwards, says he believed he would receive a 6.5-year prison term for charges filed after a 2024 July drive-by shooting and a separate incident in 2019. The court also imposed 3 years of active supervised parole. After being sentenced following a July 2022 court hearing, Edwards asked the 19th Judicial District Court and the First Circuit Court of Appeal for permission to withdraw his guilty plea. Each rejected his request, too. Tuesday's decision from the state's highest court was announced without comment. Writ application denied, was all the justices said. Prosecutors say the shootings occurred amid a rivalry among 2 rival record labels in Baton Rouge, NBA, Never Broke Again, and TBG, Top Boy Gorilla. The 2019 case for aggravated assault with a firearm involved a shooting on Avenue L. The 2020 charges involved attempted murder and assault accusations following a drive-by shooting outside an apartment complex on Greenwell Springs Road, records show. Number 4 Hot Boy. Do his story is crazy, you won't believe what happened with this one. Before his incarceration, he was an emerging figure in the Louisiana rap scene, charged with first-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of 35-year-old Nicholas Williams in Baton Rouge. Additional charges. His legal troubles include possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, illegal use of weapons, and drug-related offenses. Bond violations. At the time of his 2023 arrest, he was allegedly wearing a court-ordered ankle monitor from a previous case and had reportedly violated his curfew and travel restrictions. This is the news article from when he was booked for a shooting while on ankle monitor. A man who was out on bond for felony charges has been arrested in a murder that happened March 5. The Baton Rouge Police Department said 35-year-old Nicholas Williams was shot and killed on Aliquippa Street off Plank Road around 8:40 p.m. More than 2 weeks later, 20-year-old Rashawn Alexander was taken into custody and booked for first-degree murder, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of marijuana, and illegal use of a weapon. According to parish records, Alexander was arrested in May 2022 for violating a protective order, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a stolen firearm. Documents say Alexander posted a $22,500 bond in July 2022 and was ordered to abide by a curfew and wear an ankle monitor. In October 2022, a note was sent from Alexander's ankle monitoring service to the judge presiding over his case. The note said Alexander did not keep the battery charged on the device and had left the state without approval. The next turn on this case would get even crazier when the Baton Rouge police released him out on bond by mistake. A video posted to his Instagram page shows 21-year-old Rashawn Alexander leaving the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison early Wednesday morning. The problem is, the district attorney says, he wasn't supposed to be released. Apparently, he paid the bond, and no holds were reflected at the prison for whatever reason, and he was able to bond out like anyone else would have, said Hiller Moore. The locally known rapper has been in jail since March 2023 waiting to stand trial for the murder of Nicholas Williams. At the time of that arrest, Alexander was out on bond for other charges. On Tuesday, during a routine motion hearing, Judge Tarvald Smith found no probable cause for one of those charges involving possession of a firearm. For reasons still unclear, there was no longer documentation holding Alexander in jail, and the jail allowed him to post a $260,000 bond. Despite the judge finding no probable cause on one case, he had multiple other cases, including murder, and everyone understood the hold was still in place on all of the other charges. The mistake was noticed immediately. Once Judge Smith was notified of his release, he issued a new arrest warrant. Alexander turned himself in Thursday morning and is back in custody. Moore says he's not sure where the communication breakdown happened. When they left the hearing Tuesday, no one was under the impression that Alexander would be allowed to bond out. I don't know where any miscommunication could have happened, but that's obviously what happened. Before police arrested Alexander for Williams's murder, the court ordered him to wear an ankle monitor. He has been in and out of jail for various charges including misdemeanor domestic abuse and drug and gun possession. According to the monitoring company, Alexander wasn't taking his supervision seriously. We continued to get notice that his battery was low and he continued to violate and go out of the state while on an ankle monitor, and we asked that his bond be revoked, said Moore, who at the time filed a motion to have his bond revoked. 3 months later, in March of 2023, police picked him up on charges of possession of a firearm, driving a stolen vehicle, violating a protective order, and ultimately tied him to the murder, which police say is caught on camera. Alexander's lawyer Ryan Thompson says his client has a constitutional right to a bond and it appears he is being denied that right. Murder arrest to that of Jace Boyd. Boyd was found guilty of manslaughter for shooting and killing Danny Buckley in the parking lot of a Baton Rouge shopping center in 2020. It was also captured on video. Thompson represented Buckley's family during the trial. There are all these questions surrounding whether or not this shooting occurred on video, said Thompson, referring to the shooting Alexander is indicted for. That's not the question right now. But if it is the question, my question becomes, why is he not afforded the same perceived privileges as Boyd, where a shooting was on video? Despite admitting to the shooting as self-defense minutes after it happened, Boyd was not arrested until days later. After being indicted, he was granted bond. My issue is the differential treatment between black and white defendants. Number 5 Calvary Keelin got tossed in the cage recently. This is a very sad situation. RIP to the victim of this case. Calvary Keelin, a 19-year-old rapper from Hammond, Louisiana, born Keelin Green, was arrested on November 29, 2025, for a fatal shooting at a hair salon incident. The shooting occurred around 5:15 p.m. on Saturday, November 29, 2025, at a hair salon located in the Town and Country Shopping Center on the west side of Hammond. Victim. The victim was identified as 18-year-old Jermaine Stevenson Jr., who was driven to North Oaks Medical Center by an acquaintance but later died from his injuries. Self-surrender. Shortly after the incident, Green, Calvary Keelin, fled to a nearby market and called the Hammond Police Department himself to report that he had shot someone. Charges. He was arrested without incident and booked into the Hammond Police Department jail on charges of second-degree murder and illegal discharge of a weapon. After the shooting, he actually went over to a nearby grocery store and called the cops himself and reported it. Let me know in the comments if you think that was a good idea.
In Hammond, one teen is dead, another waking up behind bars after a shooting, get this, at a hair salon. Police say it all happened at the Town and Country Shopping Center. That was at around 5 last night. Police say that 19-year-old Keelin Green shot and killed 18-year-old Jermaine Stevenson Jr. We're told that Green actually called police himself to report that he just shot Stevenson. He was arrested and is accused of second-degree murder. This morning, we are working to get new details about the motive for this shooting.
At the end of the day, talent is real, but freedom is priceless. Too many gifted artists lose years of their life behind bars instead of behind the mic. Staying focused, staying disciplined, and moving smart is the real flex. The streets don't love you back, but your future will if you protect it. Keep your circle tight, your vision clear, and your goals bigger than the moment. Success isn't just about making it out, it's about staying out. Stay free, stay grinding, stay alive.